Is this a certified damn shoddy moment? How much caffeine do you think it takes to kill and this, I'm gonna make this very specific, a 165-pound teenage male? How much does it take?
Well, if you carry the X minus the Y, divide by Z.
But what determines X, Y, and Z?
C.
You know what? Here, you know what? The best research is usually conducted in the field, so... And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my fourth one of the night. We're going to be doing just great.
Alright, we're on.
And that's it. Okay. Welcome to what is quite literally the latest episode of Vibe Talk that we have ever made.
Should I mix the monster in the middle?
Oh my god. No. Don't, please. Actually, yes, do it.
No, I'm not doing that.
So...
This milk's expired today.
Wait, really? I thought we refreshed on that. Well, okay, well, I need to get new milk. Well, I would have milk if Dad came back. I'm not sure. I'm gonna keep that in there. So, it's been a little while since we recorded an episode. We have tried to record an episode from time to time, whenever we had it, like had the time to record, but it's never been good enough quality that we thought was worth releasing. So how many did we record? We recorded 2 more after this, so this is technically the 5th episode in a way.
But we've only posted like 1.
No, we posted 2. I uploaded the second one 5 months ago.
Well, then yeah.
Yeah. So, what are some not controversial, issues happening right now in the world? There's a lot, most of them are political, but we have a policy here on this podcast, and that is that we will not get into controversial topics such as politics, because once a podcast starts making claims about a certain political side, then that makes... Yeah, it becomes biased, and the audience is like, well, okay, I'm not going to listen to these people because of their opinion. Because I know people are like that. People will, like, choose podcasts that are either left or right, like whatever floats your boat. Honestly, I think that podcasts that are unbiased work more because it works with a wider range of people. I think. It sounds just generally better to me because you're targeting...
You're not targeting
everybody.
one side, you're targeting the middle.
Yeah, you're targeting like the dead middle. Okay, so the shooting in Texas 2 months ago, what's your thoughts on that?
It was a terrible thing. And what the news is doing is also terrible.
How so?
So the shooting, like right after the shooting happened, a couple hours later, people already bringing politics into it. Just let the families grieve, number one, for like at least a week before adding political sides to it.
Well, why do you think they would have added political tendencies to it? Sorry to interrupt you, but out of just a very, how do I word this? Disastrous event, how would someone bring politics into something that disastrous and evil?
Gun rights. Since as soon as the kid turned 18, right after writing, like, what was it, a hit list or something, then his parents took him and helped him buy an AR, and then he went and shot up a school. But yeah, they bring politics, and then it's like the wound is still fresh. It's like it's still wide open, so that's why.
Yeah, because it just happened.
It just happened, and that's why they bring the politics in while the wound is already open.
Yeah.
And like a week later, the wound it's still open. It's healing. But if you tack it while it's still open, it does more harm. But I think the family should have time to at least grieve before.
Yeah. Without getting their throats crammed down with political belief, like, oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of this political bull.
Yeah, exactly. And the news is also being stupid by posting the shooter's name and face all over their internet, even though that's exactly what he wants. That's the whole reason why he did it. He did it for a reason. and his name is now out there along with his face.
So, for the sake of that exact topic, we won't mention his name or his face because, as Brand says, again, it's kind of feeding into what he wanted. But I think that there's a few more things that could possibly go into it. They're just theories of mine, obviously. But one is that he was 18, right? So he was possibly born in 2004, if my math is right.
2004.
He's a year older than us, barely a year older.
Yeah.
So, do you think that the current generation with how things are, because the internet, internet is so easily accessible to us now than it was like 20, 30 years ago. Do you think that the influence of the internet and how biased a lot of platforms are possibly quote unquote corrupted this person?
What do you mean?
Like, let's say Twitter. Twitter is...
Are you asking if this influenced him?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The first school shooting, I think, was in 1989. I'm pretty sure. You can double check me on
Yeah,
that.
you guys can fact check that one in the comments.
Yeah,
We could be totally wrong.
In 1989, and before that, it was never heard of. Not at all. But the internet was around. That was invented around that time. So if the internet wasn't a thing, you couldn't get your name out there. It would be in the newspapers, probably, but you're not getting the same effect. Online, any kid, even like a 3-year-old, can just go on Google News, and anybody that can read can just go on Google News and just see it.
Yeah, but a normal person. So you're saying that there's a form of inspiration behind that?
Yes, there's there's been 210 plus school shootings this year so far, and it's only been almost 6 months in.
6 months in.
And there's been over 200 in the U.S.
My question is, I'm gonna kind of poke a hole in your statement. If there's a bit of I don't think exactly it's more well, it could be inspiration, but like in the worst way possible, because every human being has, empathy. They have emotion. So do you think that it's solely psychopathic? Because you said a 3-year-old, right? Okay, maybe that was just an analogy, but a young person, maybe a child's brain is... If I had to use an analogy for that, a kid's brain is a lot like clay. Like, it's like moldable, it's shapeable. So whatever you feed it, you're basically in a way kind of shaping it into what it's going to be before it becomes older, and that clay hardens into like a structure.
Yeah.
And that's just how they live by. Quote unquote, the statement of he was hardened, quote unquote, hardened that way. Like battle hardened or whatever.
Yeah.
So by the internet, and I'm not sure if I should bring in violence in video games because that's kind of a controversial topic in and of itself. Like, shoot, I play Call of Duty and I don't feel like I want to shoot up a school. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel that. So I think that's also dependent on the mind. Like, what you're subject to as a kid. And also, it can also be socially influenced. Like, if it came from a bad family. Like, your father was abusive or an alcoholic, or your mom was just not there, or...
Yeah.
There's a lot of influence, like, a lot of, like...
Every
stressors.
single friend, every single family member will influence you in a certain way.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, growing up as a certain, if you're left or right, growing up, if you're on the right side of politics,
You're most likely going to become right because that's how you were socialized.
yes, that's how you were raised. That's how, like, if you were born to a Christian family and you went to church every day, there's a good chance that you're going to become Christian instead of Jewish, or, if you know what I mean. And then also your friends can also influence you, like vaping, for example. You have 2 friends that vape and you're the only one left out.
Isn't that considered secondhand socialization? Well, socializing, because first-hand socialization is your parents and family. Second-hand is friends. It's kind of like...
Everything influences. The news.
Yeah, but there's limitations to each thing. Like, your the news is never going to socialize you more than your parents are going to, for instance. Yeah, and that's where YouTube comes in, and social internet, because sometimes
Influencers.
the balance has been tipped.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, in some rare cases, the internet is now socializing these kids more than the parents are. And that can be solely the parents' fault or some other fault.
Like, people on YouTube, the kids are watching these people and seeing them, like, have time of their lives on camera, and then get a crap ton of money for it. But those people are one in a million. They're not born ever. Yeah, they're not an everyday.
Exactly, they're extremely lucky. You have to hop on a trend. It's getting famous on the internet is like trying to throw a needle through a Cheerio from 10 feet away. Like, you have to be extremely lucky in order to do that. And whenever kids see this, you know, I was a kid too. I tried making content, and you don't make it that far. That makes you self-conscious. That makes you sad. That makes you like
Doubt yourself.
yeah, like why can't I reach this? Like, these people are doing it. They make it seem easy. Why can't I do it? Why is it so hard? And that creates like a form of depression within these kids, this new generation.
You never really heard of depression. Depression was obviously a thing. Let's say like 1950s.
And depression's always been a thing,
It's
but
always been a
it's
thing, but you
changed
never
because different
heard about
stressors.
You heard about it, but it's like
It wasn't so widespread
Yeah.
now as it is way back then.
exactly.
Like, depression back then was caused by real things. Like, let's say, I'll use something that we're learning in class. So I have a history class in my school, and we just got done with a Vietnam War unit. So after the Vietnam War, a lot of veterans came out, and a lot of the things they were suffering from, you know, they had PTSD, they had drug addictions, they had suicidal tendencies, but one of the big things was that they had depression. Now, solely, that depression stemmed from a very serious thing, and that was, you know, Vietnam was very brutal. Vietnam, you would be constantly on the line. You would see your friends getting killed. You would see, like, I'm not going to get into it, but Vietnam was gory. So that had a very serious impact to create this depression within them. Now take that and now go to the modern times. Admittedly, our depression, our generation is not as quote unquote tough as the prior generations were, and that's just how it is. That's just how things have gone because of the internet and advancements. It's kind of quote unquote softened us. So with this softness, our depression is much more able. I'm not sure how to word that. Depression is more likely because we don't have a true understanding of what it means to be really depressed. Like, we just see a very minor thing, and we get sad about it, and then we label it as depression.
There's a difference between being upset over over things, and then you remembering that. Like, you can remember something that made you upset, and then all of a sudden you're upset again. But that's not depression. That's just remembering.
That's just
something
simply
that
being upset. Yeah.
Versus people in Vietnam, which again, like you mentioned, their best friends died. The people in their unit died. People were drafted and left their families and died, or had family that died in Vietnam. That is completely different than, oh shoot, I have depression now. I just broke my lava lamp. I ran out of Monster.
Oh
Actually,
no, my girlfriend
Monster.
broke. Okay, well that is kind of a little bit serious, but like, I didn't get this many likes on Instagram. Like, I don't have quote unquote the potential, and that creates sensitivity within this generation today.
We care about how people look at us too much.
Exactly, because.
But even me, I try not to be influenced by others. But one thing I do realize about myself is I'm like, I have to look nice. I don't care. I have to at least match outside of school. But I don't know if that's just because I want people to look at me a certain way, or if that's just because it bugs me my jeans don't match my shirt.
Now, is that something that socially, quote unquote, inspires you to do, or is that something you just generally do?
I think at first it was for people to look at me a certain way, but now it's just become habit where I'm like, I cannot wear black and black if like a black, my shirt is shiny black and my shorts are just black. Honestly, that just bugs me out. Now,
Yeah.
like what I'm wearing now, I would wear it to the gym. It's because it's two different colors
It's
and they
fit
go together.
for the occasion.
It's fit for it's exactly what you wear to it, and plus it goes with each other. That's not so people can look at me a certain way. It's just it makes me feel better.
Yeah. So, taking that and looping back a step, a lot of our generation is easily influenced, basically.
Yeah.
So now taking that and looping back even further back to the shooter, I'm not entirely sure how to word it. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, because we did just go into a well thought out, not argument, but explanation / argument about our generation versus the last generation, how that
Debate.
yeah, that whole debate. Again, the new generation is more malleable. It's more easy to influence because everything is so like, damn, what's the word? Okay, here's an example. You go on Instagram or any social media platform, name one time ever that you've ever seen someone sad on Instagram.
You're
Like a sad post, like, oh no, like, oh, I'm not going here. No one's ever gonna post that. So once you scroll through all these images and with people like, oh hey, I'm in the mountains with my family. Oh my god, I just got the promotion for my job. Oh my god, I just got a scholarship. Holy crap, she said yes. After seeing that so many times, it kind of builds like a burden, a kind of burden in your brain, because then you think, well, all these people are doing great things. Why aren't I having good things happen to me? And I think that's one of the things that was possibly going through the shooter's head.
I want people to talk about me. I want people to notice me.
Exactly. Now, at a glance, saying that, oh, this person shot up a school for attention, yeah, that sounds like not the greatest thing to say. But there's it's a theory. It's not absolutely confirmed. Like, we're not saying, oh, this is what happened. This is more just a guess as to what happened. And there's probably a real definite reason for it that we don't know of. But that's the best of what we got.
You for this shooting, and this would be either wants attention, wants to be known in a history book, or just something about politics since it involved guns.
That's probably one of the
yeah. And then it could have been politics, because the best, like, if you went to a college and shot up a college, you would hear about that for probably a month.
Yeah.
But this kid went to an elementary school,
Which has kids. These kids have potential. These kids have potential to be doctors. They have potentials to be essential people of the world. Now they've just been wiped completely off.
Yeah, killed 2 teachers and 19 kids, ages 5 to 10.
He even shot his own grandma in the face.
Yeah.
Well, she survived that.
Yeah.
Okay, I hate making this joke, but yeah, tougher generations.
She just blocked it with her flip-flop.
Pulled out the chancla, started speaking Japanese, like, Oiwedo. Like, you thought I was dead. That's probably it. I wonder if she's actually okay. Probably not.
She's not dead.
Well, that's good. But still, living in pain, not great.
But also, he comes from a Republican family. So either he did it to get attention, or his friends and other family members influenced him from...
To shoot at the school specifically?
No, not specific, like, to make a point about gun rights.
Huh. But that's like the worst way to put it, though. Also, you mentioned something that got my attention. You said he came from a Republican household, right?
Yeah.
Does that dictate that solely Republicans think like this?
Think like shooting?
Yeah. Because in a way, he kind of just said... I don't know. Because I think that's where politics then came in. Because all of a sudden, the Democrats or the liberals, or there's a lot of terms for it, are now saying, "See, the Republicans are being bad. They're shooting up schools."
Okay, the Democrats created other organizations that were much worse.
True.
For example, the KKK was.
Wait, the Democrats made the KKK?
Yeah, the Democrats made a KKK.
That seems kind of backwards.
And
I thought that was more of a Republicans thing, because way back
no,
when.
they turned it. The Democrats originally created the KKK secretly, and then turned it around and blamed the Republicans. Because they wanted people to look at them again a certain way. And
so, wait.
they wanted people...
Wanted them to look at them a certain way, but then that continued on for so long, because that's what created even more racism.
Yeah, that created even more racism on the Republican side.
But
like, if you also look back, most like colored people were Republican.
So you're saying it's always been political? Even way back when, it's always been political, no matter what?
Yeah.
Well, didn't the Republicans and the Democrats work together for like a little bit?
A little bit
but
before...
then up until 9/11, and then things got really bad because they started hating one another?
Up until JFK.
JFK?
After his death.
Oh, wait. Okay, so when did JFK die? I can't remember exactly. It wasn't the 80s. It was in the 70s, right?
It was in the it was at 79.
Yeah, and then 9/11 was 2001. So there's been a bit of time there.
Oh, never mind. It was not 79. It was 63.
Oh, it was 63. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was 80 years. That's so trippy to think about. 80 years ago, or just about 80. 79 years, but 80 years ago. Time's going by too fast, man.
Yeah, but
it's such a trip.
If you look at graphs, according to that, the trust in government was up to 80%.
Yeah, and then
it went from after his death, it went down and down.
Yeah, because then Nixon took over, right?
And then Johnson, and then Nixon.
Yeah, and then all the charts went.
Yeah, and then it was not. It's only gone up and down from like 20 to 25%, and it stays at that when it used to be about 80. So all these shooters, if you go back to shooting, all these shooters always usually involve politics or attention.
Yeah, by some political mean. Yeah, some political mean or attention seeking. Means.
They don't want it just for attention usually, because then they're not there to enjoy that attention.
Do you think that there's ever a message that they give or something? Like there's a rhyme or reason to why they did it?
There has been. I don't know what the reason is for this one specifically.
Yeah, you actually just reminded me. There's a conspiracy out there. I've yet to kind of look into it. I was watching Wendigoon's video on it. So, I'm not sure if it was... I think it was Columbine. So, before the event happened, there's tapes of the two brothers talking about what they were going to do. They were, like, planning it out. And they're saying, like, how much they hated the school. And, like, they were explaining why they were going to do it. But they never recovered the tapes. And someone somewhere has those tapes still. No one knows exactly what they said. But... that's why I thought about it. Like, what if a lot of the shooters have a reason that's maybe it's not political?
Well, in my opinion, if it's not political, then it's sure to be released. If it is political, or or something bad happened and someone's just trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
If it there has to be a reason why something is not released.
Yeah, unless you're under the influence of a certain drug or substance, you usually have a reason. Because who just wakes up and goes, huh, I'm in a pretty good mood today. Put me some Sunny D. Huh, this is elementary school. What if I can just go over there and just, you know, like no one thinks like that unless you're a psychopath.
Something's being is most likely being covered up. For example, this is a pretty known thing, the JFK thing. There's documents that are still, after all these years, are still being held. 79 right now, almost 80 years later, there's still documents that are held that have not been released to the public.
What specifically? Oh, just
we don't
the
know.
Assassination?
Or
what about him in general?
That's the assassination. Because right now it's just a giant cover-up. Because for example, let's say his brother was shot.
Yeah, he was shot like
JFK's
during his campaign.
During his campaign, JFK's brother was shot. He's like, oh yeah, this kid was in front of him and shot because of, forgot what reason. But then yet, it's cover-up when he was shot in the back of the head. Security guards behind him, whatever JFK's brother's name was, and then apparently the shooter was in front of him. Yeah, behind the head, JFK.
Well,
there was 2 bullets from 2 different directions. Yet, apparently there was one. There was a rifle. They say 1 rifle, but it was impossible to reload as fast as it did.
Do you think that, because there is such a thing as bad cops, do you think that some of the guards were hired on to say, hey, when this happens, shoot in the back of the head and we'll pay you a fee?
Yeah, back then,
money.
You can pay politicians. You can bribe a lot more people than you can now.
Yeah, well, you can still do that even nowadays.
You can still do it now.
To an extent.
Yeah, you can still do it now, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, because it was hella corrupt back then.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we're contradicting our rule about diving into politics, but I think we're staying within the guidelines, because when you talk about politics, you gotta talk about it from an explanation point of view or from the bias point of view, and we're talking about it from the explanative version.
Yeah, we're not talking about it from a certain side. We're talking about a conspiracy.
Yeah, and we're not talking about it from a biased point of view either, because for the sake of privacy, me and Brandon are not gonna say what our political beliefs are. Again, for the sake of keeping things anonymous and private. And also, complete side thing. This is a complete left field throw. But if the government is by chance hearing on this, we're good people. We kind of like our lives. So we would not like to be assassinated in case we start talking about some things we're not supposed to. If you ever come over and just say, hey, shut up, we're done with that. Just don't put a bullet in our heads, please. It'd be great. Or process from the back, like Robert.
Man, we should probably turn this back around to the Texas.
The Texas shooting. Well, I think that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to loop back around and talk about a couple of theories that could have led to this happening. Because we talked about internet influence, and we talked about possible political influence, and then a bit of conspiracy. So I think we're going a little bit off topic.
Yeah.
So looping all back to the Texas shooter, he was probably influenced by a lot of things because the younger generation is more malleable and more susceptible to violent activity because of the phenomena around them and what they're absorbing, like this negative tendency.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to put it.
And how excuse me, also how fast it spreads.
Yeah, it's like widespread throughout the entire generation because nearly every single teenager has a phone.
Yeah, like back then, boom, newspaper. Newspapers did not travel around the world. It was for that specific state. Or,
Yeah.
But now, since we have phones and internet and all that, now one click of a button and any person in the whole entire world.
Yeah, you have the literal entire world in your pocket. You have access to literally anything.
NASA would have died for this when they first were making rockets.
Yeah, NASA would salivate at the mouth. Like, if we went back in time in the 1980s, they'd be like, oh my god, how? So, do you think we talked a fair bit about the shooter?
Not much. Well, we're trying not to say his name.
Yeah, let's not say his name. Again, I think that would be just giving in to what he wants. If we are right, and it was a bit of an attention give,
then we don't want to give the name, and even though every one of y'all probably already know what the name is by now, but
even I actually don't know.
Well, not by heart probably, but you can just look it up.
Again, a little Google search, and you'll find it. Like, boom, right there.
Yeah, but also hearing where, just like hearing something like where Texas, that's where I was from.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were born in Texas, right?
Well, like technically I was born in Everett, but then like a month later than Texas, so
yeah.
So technically I was born in Everett.
So it kind of it strikes a bit closer to you because that was where you came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I can remember that more than that place more than I've ever lived in California.
Yeah, because you went from Texas to California to here, right? Okay. You live in wait, where's Everett at?
It's right outside of Seattle.
Oh, so it's in Washington.
It's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Washington to Texas to California to here. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Well, Texas to California, back to Texas, back to California to here.
Yeah. Yeah. Like kind of like a loop-de-loop. So, did you want to shift gears and talk about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, the sexiest man alive, right behind Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds has a warm place in my heart. Johnny Depp cannot move that. For me, it goes Ryan Reynolds.
Johnny Depp.
No. Ryan Reynolds, Andrew Garfield, then Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah.
You cannot argue with Andrew Garfield's hair, okay?
Oh.
Especially in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh my god, dude. I would kill for that hair. As a heterosexual man, those three are possibly one of my most favorite actors. Like, you know when you can compliment a man without being gay. You can do that. Same thing as a woman complimenting another woman. It's not gay, you're simply complimenting them based off how they look. Like, I would compliment... Like, if I met someone that was physically stout, I'm like, wow, dude, you look buff. Now, that's complimenting. Now, if I said, you know what, for the sake of YouTube, I don't want to get demonetized, I'm not going to say it, but if I said something really, like, sexual towards it, then yeah, that would be considered homosexual.
So, but there's also joking way.
In a joking way. Well, even that's kind of hard to decipher, because, again, it's kind of hard to... Well, things are more open nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, you can never tell who's gay, you can never tell who's straight or pan or bi or... I don't know, spin the wheel.
And they say something, you're like, let me Google search what that is.
Search that.
But
I never hopped on that bandwagon. I've never... You know what's funny? I actually never even heard of LGBTQ until the end of middle school, I think. Yeah.
I thought in middle school people were just like wearing rainbows. And I'm like, oh, there's rainbows everywhere. But now it's like, oh, That's what that.
I thought it was a trend or something. Like,
Yeah.
they was making a comeback or something.
Yeah, like.
I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then, yeah, and then Gay Pride came along, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's new. What did you...
I don't know.
Brandon just fell over his
I was
seat.
stretching.
This is why I have this seat. Yeah, get up here. Come on, get up. Welcome back. Welcome back.
It fell. Everything. Okay.
So, I don't want to talk too much about this subject because, again, it's controversial. I don't want to actually say something.
But, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Johnny Depp.
wrong.
Johnny Depp.
So, Johnny Depp, one of the sexiest men alive. And Amber Heard, the literal
Psychopath.
psychopath, the little Baba Yaga, the literal,
Shit bed taker.
yeah, the little troll from under the bridge. Oh man, it's kind of funny. Well, it had a sour beginning, and it's becoming more and more funny as it goes along. Because you know about it, right? Like at the very, very beginning, everyone knew it. So, the people who have been living under a rock this entire time, Johnny Depp lost all of his not ownership, but money he made over the Pirates of the Caribbean movie from Amber Heard. So Amber Heard
just lost. He lost the role. He lost Disney. He lost.
He lost nearly everything.
He lost. He and I quote. What was the quote? It was like, someone asked him what have you lost, and he said, nothing more than everything. And then because Disney dropped them, and that Disney was the Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Yeah.
Disney owns everything.
Yeah, Disney literally owns everything. But, yeah, so Disney was more guilty to approve of this and just dropped him. And now he won't go back, even if they offered him, what was it, $300 million and 1,000 alpacas or 100 alpacas or whatever.
Yeah.
He would never go back because just the Lord, like, how fast they dropped him.
Yeah, it's kind of like someone backstabbing you, and they're like, "Oh, hey, best friend." Like, so Amber Heard said. Amber Heard proclaimed that Johnny Depp was abusing her. Abusing her, when it was actually the complete other way around. But the reason why this wasn't brought into attention then was because of just, how things are. Like, it's much more likely for a man in a domestic abuse case. It's much more likely for the man to be violent because, it's a man. But now, as of recently, Johnny Depp is coming back and he wants his stuff back, basically.
He wants $100 million for defaming him, but...
For falsely accusing him.
Yeah, well, because he lost everything.
Yeah.
So, but now, I'm pretty sure, I think it did not end. I don't know. But if
it's still going.
Yeah, it might still be going, but at least everyone knows. Like, even the people that were going to support her aren't supporting her anymore. And
dude, even her lawyer is like embarrassed to even be there.
Yeah, exactly. And like, even her parents are taking Johnny Depp's side.
Because Amber Heard is the lowest piece of scum in history.
Yeah, and
it's honestly funny. It's so bad it's funny.
And then my dog stepped on a bee?
my dog stepped on a bee, and then everyone's just like, okay, and?
What does that have to do with,
yeah.
abuse?
And then whenever Johnny Depp would talk, I'm not sure who was saying it, but then they would say, sorry, you're wasting too much of the court's time. And on that same breath, it took Amber Heard's lawyer 5 minutes, like maybe 10 minutes, to find evidence, like a scrap of evidence, for her side, which it was not even considered evidence. It was more like, how do I explain it? They found a really crappy form of evidence that did not support anything, basically. I don't know. And it's stupid. It's honestly super stupid.
Yeah, and it's like, you can tell what she's lying about.
It's written on her face. Literally, liar.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, yeah, so your nose, see, it looks like it's not injured at all. And it's like, oh, yeah, makeup. Makeup covers swelling. And it's like, oh, no, ice does. Ice covers swelling. Well, no, it reduces it. But, and then they're like, what makeup kit did you use? And then she's like, oh, this Bruce kit I met theater kit I used. And then all of a sudden you look up that theater kit and it come out to the year after she accused them.
Huh.
So that kind of, like, she has nothing. She's making up all this random stuff and none of it is connecting.
Yeah, to save her own skin.
Yeah, to save her own skin. All she's doing is just proving to everyone that she is a psychopath.
And by this point, she's realized that she's messed up and she's just trying to drag it out as long as she possibly can.
She's just trying to escape it now.
Yeah.
But without looking even stupider than all that's.
It's not working. It's
not
just
working.
it's a constant downfall. Wasn't there this one thing I saw it on social media? It was Amber Heard, like she was like fake crying, and then she saw her photographer pause for a moment, and then wait for them to take the picture, and then continue to fake cry. It was so.
Was it when
cancerous.
she lifted up her little napkin or whatever?
Yeah.
No.
That was for all the tabloids.
Well, it was like honestly, it looked like she, because she does a lot of cocaine. And also,
she does a lot of cocaine?
Yeah, she does cocaine, and that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like she just went up, opened the napkin, like, and just closed it. And then, so either A, she's posing for the camera, or B, there's something in there.
How could you sneak cocaine into a court?
Did they actually scan you before you go in the court? Go in the court?
Don't they?
I don't.
Go to court. Find out. Come back when you know.
But yeah,
I'm trying to poke holes in this because it's honestly kind of funny. Because Johnny Depp knows that he's gonna win this. He knows for a fact because everyone in that room hates her.
And you see him and his lawyers like laughing it up over there, just enjoying life. He literally just drew a random picture on a sticky note and gave it to the lawyer. And then Amber Heard is like, all right, what crap are we making up next?
Improv. Oh, Adi on there. Wasn't there one? Oh yeah, the smoking gun on all this. So there was an audio file that they found because Johnny Depp was audio recording a lot of it, and it was Amber Heard saying, "Go ahead, Johnny. Tell them that you're a man and you're subject to domestic abuse." And that was like the literal smoking gun to it. Because that just single-handedly proved that she, like, that was like the bona fide evidence. That was like the proof that the circle is red, basically.
Yeah. It's the freaking spoon to your soup.
Yeah, but people are still like, well, there's a bit more to it. There has to be. Dude, this person.
Those are just people who have the hot for her.
I wonder if there's people that actually still support this woman.
There's not. There's Elon Musk who backed out, and I forgot there's one other person or two other people that also backed out.
Why is that?
Because they already know it. Because Elon Musk dated her, and he even had a bruise on his face. One time, and then she's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna support you." Never mind, I'm busy.
Hey, so I got that rocket.
I have stuff to do. I don't have time to lie for you.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny to me. Oh god, the whole thing is cancerous. Yeah, it's a little funny. It's funny how smug Johnny Depp is the entire time. Is it true that you took a mega pint? And he's like, megabytes? Dude, what the heck's a megabyte? Like, they add all these extra words to, like, make it, like, seem like he's extra bad.
So, where did that crapping in the bed come from, though? Like,
Yeah,
how did that even start?
I don't even know where that came from, actually. Yeah, that was one of the things that people were talking about, is that Amber Heard would just casually just crap the bed. I don't even know where that even came from, though.
Or butt.
Well, yeah, no, duh, but what else do you think has come out? The mouth?
Well, you never know.
I'm gonna have to take a bit of a look into it to see where that came from. But, yeah. Oh god, I do not feel good. I think the monsters are actually starting to take effect.
Hey, hold on. You still have mini fridge down here.
No. That's out.
Oh, yeah.
It's out of monsters.
Oh, I was full. When I
So
came.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 in here. Damn, we're not sleeping tonight. Yay! Okay. Are you still addicted to Red Bull?
No, this is the second energy drink today, and before that, I haven't had an energy drink since. I don't even know. That was the last time I drank one with you.
Huh. You think that substance abuse is a genetic thing?
No.
Why do you think that? What's your reasoning? Because I think the opposite, but I want to see what your point of view is on that.
Alright. For example, neither one of my parents had any. Like, my mom didn't start drinking a lot of coffee until, like, a little bit before I was born. But before that, she never drank anything that was. Well, I don't know if that's what you count as this, but yeah, neither one of my parents drink anything like this.
I mean, like, any form of substance.
Coffee, water,
You can substance abuse water?
people have drowned by drinking too much water. So I don't know.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, like there's this radio show that it was like, oh, drink a gallon of water, see how long you can last, and then you can win a free Xbox. So this mom went online, went on there and was like, I want to win my son an Xbox for Christmas. She drank it, the whole gallon of water, and was trying to hold it as long as she can, and then she died.
Ooh.
And then, yeah, so that some radio shows still do it, but that radio show no longer does it because she drowned because she was not going to the bathroom even though she needed to, and she drank a whole gallon of water.
In one go?
Yeah, in one go. Not throughout the day, just one go.
Jesus. I got a gallon right there, right behind you. I don't think I could even do that.
Okay, let's test it.
No. Plus, it's like a fifth full. Well, a fourth full. But yeah, I don't think I have the capacity to do that. Was this like a big woman? Or like...
Small. Well, average size. You know,
Average size woman?
not
Okay,
anorexic,
by what
not
standards? What standards?
fat.
Because standards have changed quite a bit.
Remember my ex, Kira?
Yeah.
Yeah, about her. You know? Yeah, so like, right now I have like probably 10% body fat. Probably around 20% body fat average.
Huh. Well, hopefully Kira doesn't hear about this podcast.
Be better, man.
Be better. Be better.
Be better, man.
Okay, what other topics can we talk about? We wrote down a list of topics to talk about. So, Johnny Depp, her, the shooting, school catch-up, job stories. Got any job stories? Anything interesting happen?
Yes, we had a push-up challenge.
Seriously? You had a push-up challenge?
Yeah.
Oh god, did you win?
Yeah.
Let's go!
Because none of them could do a one-arm push-up.
Right. Oh, it was a one-arm push-up challenge?
Well, no, it was like we started off with one-arm push-ups, and then after he quit, I was still going, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just show off now. So I just put one arm behind my back, and I just kept going.
Did you win something, or it was just like a, hey, I dare you to do something?
We were really, really, really bored, and there was no one coming in or out, so we're like, alright, let's go.
The random testosterone between two men.
And then yesterday, actually, I had a pizza cutting challenge. With 2 people.
How'd this go?
I did. Okay, so there's this one guy, he didn't finish. I finished. I cut the pizza clean through, like, perfect, and then I boxed it up and all that. Then this guy's like, oh yeah, I won, because he boxed it up faster and all that. So he had the fastest time, but then I was like, bro, look at this pizza. And it was like little indents of where the cuts were supposed to be. And it wasn't even a slice. It was still all...
It was just a mole, like a fold. Like not even a cut, kind of like a dent, kind of.
Yeah, it was just a dent. It was just a dent in the bread and all that. I'm like, bro, you didn't even cut it. He's like, I won. I'm like, you suck.
You suck. You suck. Quit your job.
Yeah, but...
What about customers? Like, have you had, like, any bad customers?
I had one guy. It was yeah, he's the worst one. Where he was like, I was supposed to give him 80 cents in change. And I gave him 79 accidentally without thinking about it. I think I dropped a penny. And then he just stood there and looked at me like I was stupid. And then he's like, I'm missing a penny. And I'm like, oh, my bad. And I looked down, I'm like, it's on the ground. And so I just gave it to him. And then I'm like, your pizza should be ready in like 8 minutes. And then 5 minutes later, he comes back in. He's like, I want to cancel my order. He gets his money back, and he went, grabbed a soda, and left. He didn't pay for it. He just grabbed a 2-liter and left.
That's...
And then
that's ungrateful.
Yeah, no kidding. And then I saw him at the store the next day.
At Walmart?
At Walmart the next day.
Oh god, did he see you?
Yeah, he saw me. And then and all of a sudden he started walking toward me, and I just went the other way. I'm like, oh, go back
Imagine
to my
if
car.
he tracked you down and just beat you up because of a pizza. Imagine if he did.
Dude, the guy was like 6'5", and I'm like, and he looks like some surfer dude. You know, long hair, athletic looking, and he literally looked like what he was wearing. He literally looks like he just came out of Hawaii, looking like he just got done surfing.
You kind of remind me of something. I personally hate it when some customers are so stingy when it comes to money, like down to the cent. Like,
It's like, oh, sorry, what are you gonna do with the one goddamn penny?
Yeah. I think one time I had a lady come in, so she had about, I'm gonna throw a number, like 100 items on her, right? And nearly all of them were clearance items, meaning that they have been like cut down due to some reason.
Yeah.
And you want to know how many items she took out of that complete 100?
Huh.
20. About 20. Like, it was like a fifth of it. Like, I would scan it, and I'm not sure if it was just the fact that I'm not sure if she was angry or maybe it was just her accent making, because it was a Latina lady.
Oh.
She would just go, no, not that one. I'm like, oh, okay. But this would happen over and over and over again, and in my head, I'm getting more and more irritated and frustrated with this person, because now the underside of my area, because there's like the till and there's like a little cubby where I put like hangers and stuff, is like packed with like clothes and toys and stuff and blankets. I don't know. That happened, and then I think another time, this one person came. So, in the first month that I worked on my job, I work in retail, as you know. Yeah, isn't what you do retail in a way too?
I don't know.
Or is it just? I think it's just fast food.
It's just customer service. Just a cashier.
Yeah, personally, dude, I don't like customer service. I can't do people. I thought I could, but I can't.
People suck, but you know, put on that fake smile, act like you care, and you got it.
Yeah. Okay, pet peeves. Well, not pet. Let me tell you the story now. Then we'll get into, like, pet peeves about people at work. So, the first month I worked at my job, I had already been called every single white racial slur in the book. So, to explain what happened, it was like a late night shift. It was like 10 o'clock, around 10 o'clock. These two African American men come in. And I say that specifically because in their term, I guess it's racist in a way. Because it's the same thing as me, a white person saying the N-word in a way.
Yeah.
Because, well, obviously it's not as bad as the N-word, but it's a literal role reversal. So, from what I knew, they had a motel that they were going to. They were staying there in a motel, and they had these big old, I think one was like a big old crate of ramen, another one was they had just had big items, like big food items. And then the guy said, "Here, I want everything in the bag." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I'm scanning through, and with really big items, I do what I normally do. I just set it on top of the bag thing. So like, there's like the bag spin thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a carousel kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I set it on there because I'm not Mary Poppins. I can't fit that thing in the bag. And then he gets super mad at me. He's like, "Hey, not to be mean, but you're an idiot, like F word. You're stupid." Like he was going off on me. And now that I think back, I think he was under influence possibly. I couldn't pick up on slurred language, slurred voice tones, because that happens. But yeah, I don't know. They start calling me racial slurs, and honestly, I'm not offended. I'm more astonished. Because, one, you're saying this in the middle of a Walmart. Second of all, there's a family of 5 behind you. And third of all, at the time I was 16. You're saying this to a kid, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting there, I'm a little mad, but I'm more laughing at myself. I'm laughing in my head. I'm like, oh my god, this dude.
Look at the top of his head.
Literally. So, yeah, that whole bit happened. Okay. Pet peeves. I think we both agree on this. When a customer calls you by your name. Because you have your name tag, right?
Yeah.
And they call you by your name.
Well, at my work, we don't wear name tags. So.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Well, with me, I just flip mine over. Because, oh my god, I hate it. Because older couples, older people, have a tendency to do that. I remember, actually, I was in Utah with my uncle. And we were working. No, wait, what? No, we weren't working. We were running through the cashier. And I think his name was Gary or something. I don't know. I can't remember. It was just a generic name. And he tells me, he says, "Hey, it's usually good manners when you call them by their name because you acknowledge them." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was like 8 maybe. So over to me, he's like, "Oh yeah, thanks, Gary." And then he seemed pretty happy about it. He's like, "Yep, thank you. Have a good day." But now I realize that it's so uncomfortable because in a way, you forget that your name tag's there and your name's on display to everyone.
No, it sounds like some stranger's like, "Oh, I know you."
Yeah, you're like, "Oh, hey, Devin." And you're like, "What?" "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, my name tag." So I usually flip it over. And as far as I know, no one's ever asked me what my name was. But yeah, it unsettles me. It's a weird pet peeve of mine.
I like when people come in with the same name as you.
Yeah. Actually, there was a kid that came in with the same name as me. He was a little kid.
I've had a few adults come in with the same name as me, and there's a couple times I'm like, "Oh, nice name." There's other times I'm like, "Yeah, I don't say anything."
Has with the Let's Go Brandon thing going on around Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Has anybody kind of called you out on that? Like, "Oh my god, it's actually Brandon." Has anybody actually called you out on that? Because you're, in a way, your name is kind of popular.
Not. There's just one kid that, and he's at my church. So annoying, because he would just come up to me every single time. What church is Wednesdays? So every freaking Wednesday, at least 15 times, he'd just come up to me, he's like, "Let's go, Brandon, let's go, Brandon." And I'd be like, it's funny the first couple times.
Yeah, but now you're like...
Now it's been over a month of you doing this, now I just want to sock you in the face.
Yeah, and you're like, "It was funny 2,000 times ago."
It's funny 2,000 times ago, but shut up. God bless you.
Yes. "By the name of the Lord, my brother in Christ." Shut up.
freaking holy water on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that one kid, no, not really. He's a freshman too, so.
Yeah. Another pet peeve of mine. So you know, like at work, you wear like a certain like vest, right, or like you wear a shirt or something that displays a company. I think this primarily just happens to me because I work because Walmart is a literal warehouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most common question that I get asked is like I'll be doing returns, right? It is just when people don't want an item and they leave it there, so we have to go take it back to their proper place.
Yeah.
I hate this question a lot.
Hey, do you work here? And I look at him, and I look down at my vest, and I look down at him, and I'm fighting every single urge in my body to say, no, I just wear it because I want to, and I just put stuff away because I feel like it. Yes, I work here. Like, obviously I can't say that because I get fired, but it's the most stupidest question you could ask them. That's like asking the president of the United States, oh, hey, or, okay, what's a better analogy? That's like asking a police officer saying, hey, are you a police officer? And they have all the getup on. Yeah, like, no duh.
It's like, has the badge, has the gun, has the taser, and he's like, are you an officer? No
Are
crap.
you blind?
Are you blind? No? Well, then.
Then put two and two together.
Put the badge and face and the gun together.
Yeah. Or one thing. So, I think this is one of the reasons I kind of hate math, and it's the fact that I deal with a very, very obvious language barrier at my work. Because every so often, I'll get migrant workers come through. They come through on these big old buses, and they speak primarily Spanish, right? And I'm sitting there trying to translate what they're saying, because most of the time they have an issue with the price. Like, I'll scan something, and then they'll say something in Spanish. They're saying something like, I think one time I translated, it was like, no, this is 20 cents for this. But they say it so fast, their accents are so thick, that I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. And I hope that doesn't seem like a way of saying, oh, I hate Spanish. It's more like I'm frustrated with myself because I don't understand it in a way. And that's what kind of creates resentment towards Spanish, is because that whenever I try to learn Spanish, it just reminds me of how mad I felt trying to figure out these angry Spanish-speaking people.
Yeah. Especially where I work, Little Caesars, I've had literal buses park in front of the store, and just like a ton of people come out. And then
Migrant workers.
Yeah, and like, I can take small orders. Like, yeah, I could take like, oh, and you want bread? I can take most orders, but it's more like, they talk so, yeah, you're right, they talk hell fast. And you're like,
And you're like, I don't speak Spanish.
So I've learned to like just take a couple words and I already know what they mean, and then I read them back all of it, and then I already know the numbers for Spanish. So yeah, so I just say what the price is, and then yeah, but half the time if there's a busload of people coming in, I'm like, you go speak that, I will take over what you're doing.
Is there any Spanish-speaking people at your job?
Yeah, I'm the only one who does not speak Spanish at my job, and they set me as a cashier.
That's not a very smart move.
Yeah.
Not a great plan.
God, yeah, I keep telling them, like, why is the only person here that don't speak Spanish as
The
a
cashier.
Like, I could literally do everything else. I know how to do everything else.
Well, you set me as a cashier.
It's like,
You're setting me up for failure, basically. Like,
exactly, but like I've learned a lot. I've learned more Spanish at my work than I have done at school.
I wish it was like that. Because whenever I try to communicate in Spanish, they laugh at me. And I think one time I partially translated. And I think one time they had said, haha, white boys trying to speak Spanish. I actually kind of caught that. It was like, blanco niño something. I don't know, they were insulting me, I could tell. Which is funny, because I used to be insulted in Spanish a lot when I was little. Like, I think it was like, when I lived back in Oregon, Yeah, I used to live in Oregon, and I'd be like at the lunch line, and like these Mexican kids would always just like insult me in Spanish. And you can tell they would because they would like they like whisper with their friends like in Spanish. They look over me, and they look back at themselves and they start laughing at each other.
Teacher.
You can tell that they're like insulting me.
Yeah.
And I always kind of had this resentment, like, or I've always had this kind of like dream where I want to learn Spanish, so I can like look back at them and say, I know what you're saying.
Kinda
Like
like
in a
that
cool like.
Like that Peter Parker scene where it was a guy like speaking Italian or something. It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
How's your daughter?"
His hands are really hot. Oh, how's your daughter? And just take it. Not expecting
Yeah, not expecting it at all. I've always wanted to pull that like Uno reversal.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's gonna be all for this podcast episode. We talked about a couple things. We talked about the shooting. We kind of got into a little bit of not controversial. We talked about conspiracy a little bit to kind of like loop it all together. We went to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and then we talked about the jobs, well, our jobs, pet peeves. I think we talked about a couple good topics. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we got some serious topics in, and we got some more entertaining stories from our
Yeah,
past.
I think we did generally better this time than the other ones, and I think this one's gonna turn out a bit better.
Than the last two.
Yeah.
The last two we were actually right here right now. We're sitting on chairs and talking, but
Yeah.
our last two we were. One of them I think we were playing Minecraft, and then the other one we were
Minecraft. Can you pronounce your R's?
One of them, our first one I think we were playing Minecraft, and then the second one we were playing like Punk.io.
Yeah, and then with another one, we were rearranging your room.
Oh yeah.
We were like putting it together because you got a new desk.
Like yeah, my new gaming desk.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, those never made the cut. I'm not sure if we'll up. Oh, yeah, and then there's one with Alex, but that never made the cut because I never got his audio, and your audio too.
This one should make the cut though.
This one should, yeah.
We just need. Well,
Yeah.
not we. You should. You just need to edit it because I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm the editing master. Anyway, so again, thank you guys for listening to this. Whatever it was. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. We're gonna call it a night, and we think we did good around this time. So,
Peace.
peace. See you guys in the next one. Take care.